Okay, folks. So I wanted to come at you with a quick explainer for the Reading Reaction 3 paper. This is going to kind of be a culmination of what we've learned over the semester and a build up to the final assignment, which I will also post a video about too, like I have with these other ones in the past. So I just wanted to go over this quickly so you can get a bit of background of what the assignment is and what I'm expecting of you. So, find it first. Apologies. Okay. All right. So this paper is not too distinct from what you've done in the past, but the way you respond to it is slightly different. So I wanted to talk a little bit about intersectionality in terms of issues and really have you flesh this out a bit more. You did talk a little bit about this with Black and Brown communities in Reading Reaction 2, but in Reading Reaction 3, I'd like you to actually do this a bit more with some other communities. And so essentially, we're going to have you do a deeper dive on how one of these issues here that I've shared, poverty, educational inequality, slavery, labor, and work exploitation, housing segregation and theft, food insecurity, yada, 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 how all of those affect at least two communities, right? And you can pick either or you can do multiple, right? So you can do at least two or more than two. Okay. And so you will basically flesh that out in a either, half paragraph or paragraph response, right? Using examples from the text and lecture. Okay. So essentially, you're going to answer two questions, but they should build on each other and again are going to culminate. So first, I just want to know, what do you think was the most interesting to learn this semester, right? And just respond to that with some information from the course, right? So at least cite or make reference to some course materials. And then secondly, how are these various communities of color affected by one major social issue outlined from the list above? And again, remember that you need to reference at least two. So in a long paragraph or in a multi-paragraph framework, tell me what has been the most interesting thing that you've learned about, and how have multiple communities been affected by one central social issue. Okay. The reason why this is important is that when you guys get ready to do your final, which is going to be a social media post, you're going to actually discuss this issue in more detail. And I want you to constantly be thinking about the course materials that we review and be referencing those. So one thing that is going to be different about this assignment from other ones is that instead of in previous Reading Reaction papers where you responded to 3 questions, you're only responding to 2 questions in here. So you're going to need to respond to 2 questions, and then each of those 2 questions is going to need 3 examples. Okay, so it's like the video analysis. So answer the question, have 3 examples from course materials, which can be reading or lecture. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with some freedom in terms of that. However, and then same for the second question, right? So 1 question, 3 citations, course references again, lecture slides, reading materials, no videos though. Okay, I see folks doing that a lot. That's not the requirement here or not the expectation here. I want you to go back to the written materials and text that I provided you with, either my lectures or the course readings. Okay, so make sure that when you respond to these questions, you include 3 sources. The sources can be either readings or readings or course lectures. Okay, so differences here: 2 questions, 3 responses, 6 total references, 3 from lecture, 3 from course readings, no videos. Okay. I provided a small structure here, as you can see. So intro, briefly describe how the course has helped you better understand these concepts and that central issue facing communities of color. And basically, whatever you've learned about should be that thing that you're kind of talking about in your second response, right? Your body paragraph should be all of those sources, or I'm sorry, responding to those 2 questions, using those sources, 3 from each, right? Again, and here I'll even add this in here. So 3 from course readings and 3 from lecture. Okay. 4, 6 total. All right. And then a conclusion that just rounds it all out. All right. So other requirements: Times New Roman 12-point font, 1-inch margins, 500 words or 2 pages, double space, right? Okay. Same standard grading rubric: 2 points for grammar and syntax, 6 points for appropriate use of sources. So the citations and you using them well. So remember that it's not about just adding in a quote. You got to make sure it makes sense to whatever you're arguing, right? And then 2 for the general flow of the essay. So make sure that, writing well, having that verified, making sure that it's logically cohesive, so on and so forth, and you're incorporating all of those, right? And again, I provided you with the general structure here. You don't have to follow that, although I would suggest it because it's just going to make it much more easier for you. All right. And I'll always apply fractions of point to make sure that you get some flexibility and you're not losing all points if there's something amiss. And always come see me, right? So go to the Writing Center, take this to them. If you need support, email me, come see me. We can talk about your papers. I know the deadline's coming up, so it might be a little bit short on time, and I'm sorry for getting this to you a little bit behind the gun, but get that in as soon as possible. With that, if you have any questions, always feel free to email me. I'll be around, to respond to any questions that you might have. And with that, I thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to reading your papers.